Hey guys, my name is Cade Vaillant. Today we will be talking about benzene. Benzene is a clear, colorless, highly flammable, very volatile liquid. It has kind of a gasoline smell to it. It's an elementary petrochemical, and basically they use this chemical to make other chemicals. And it's very reactive. It actually ranks 20th or in the top 20 of as far as production is concerned in the United States. What makes this stuff is it's a carcinogen. It'll give you cancer. It's really bad. You don't want to get it on you. You don't want to be exposed to it. And if you are exposed to it, you're just going to get rid of your body one of three ways. The most common, the primary, is inhalation. What happens is when this stuff is exposed to air, it evaporates very quickly. So you smell it, you're basically being exposed to it. Next would be absorption through your skin, or say it splashes into your eye. It's going to absorb right into you. And ingestion. Basically, splashes in your mouth, you swallow it. If you swallow it, don't just go to drinking water or trying to make yourself throw up. We're going to have to talk to a doctor, a medical professional to see the right course of action. If you are exposed to it, we'll talk about the lethal dose. What's going to kill you? It's going to be 19 to 20,000 parts per million in 5 minutes. That's a pretty high number. You're not going to see that very, very often. But for an immediate danger of life and health, like when you really, really need to worry about it as far as being exposed and being in immediate danger, that's about 3,000 parts per million. You may see that if for some reason you're exposed to it in a closed room or something like that. So this stuff has threshold limits, like they limits the amount of exposure that you're allowed to go to. The threshold limit is 10 parts per million on a weighted average. For an 8-hour shift, we don't want you to, the American Conference of Governmental and Industrial Hygienists say 10 parts per million. And that's average for a whole 8-hour shift. That's what the professional organization says. If you go to recommended exposure level, which is what the scientists and the doctors say, it's 1 part per million for a weighted average, or 1 part per million in a short-term exposure limit. And this is the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health. Scientists, they've done studies, and this is what they figure is a safe amount. Now, the permissible exposure limit is what OSHA and the government say you can be exposed to, which is 1 part per million on a weighted average, or 5 parts per million on a short-term limit exposure. Guys, these numbers are important. We want to make sure we keep track and report anytime we're exposed to it. Because if you're exposed to it above those levels, the OSHA level, you're going to have to be put under medical surveillance if you're exposed to it for more than 10 days a year. So if you are, it's provided at no cost to you, and there's exams. There's an initial, and then we're going to keep an eye on you over time to make sure you're not affected about this. And it's basically what it is. It's a blood test. They pull your blood, and they get a complete blood count, and you'll go periodically get your blood tested. If there's any abnormalities, we may have to do further tests and get you checked out. Make sure you're safe and you're good to go. So guys, I'm a pivot over to indoor air quality, and what this is basically the amount of CO2 that you can that we want to be exposed to. There's no real regulation out there. There's recommendations set forth by the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers. And what these guys say is basically the way the CO2 gets in the air, we all breathe it out. And when you're inside, it'll start building up. So it's a good indicator of how good the air is inside. Fresh air, 300 to 500 parts per million. You go outside, typically that's what you're breathing in. Good indoor air is going to be 1,000 to 1,200 parts per million. And any kind of health risk is going to come at 5,000 or higher. I mean, you're really not going to see that very often, but 1,000 to 1,200 is where you really want to be. So, guys, appreciate your time. Thank you, and y'all have a nice day.